So we're going through 40 algebra questions where you have to multiply out and simplify brackets. And here's question 31. 2, 3x plus 1 minus 2x minus 3. So over here you've got 2 times this bracket. That's straightforward enough. And over here you've got a minus and this bracket. So if you want to write that without the brackets, you've got to bear in mind it's got a minus in front of it. So it's saying minus everything in this bracket. So starting off, multiplying out the first bracket, 2 times everything in that bracket. 2 times 3x gives you 6x. 2 times 1 gives you 2. Now over here, we've got to say minus everything in this bracket. So minus 2x gives me minus 2x, but minus from outside, minus from inside, 3. Minus minus 3 makes plus 3. So we've got 6x plus 2 minus 2x plus 3. And we want to gather together terms of the same type. We've got a 6x here and a minus 2x here, so they make 4x together. And we've got a 2 and a 3 makes 5. So the final answer is 4x plus 5. Next question. 2p minus 4 plus 3 2p minus 1. So doing the multiplying before we think about the adding. 2 times everything in this bracket. 2 times p gives you 2p. 2 times minus 4 gives you minus 8. Then this one, 3 times everything in this bracket. 3 times 2p gives you 6p, and 3 times minus 1 gives you minus 3. So we've got 2p minus 8 plus 6p minus 3, and I'm going to gather together all of the p's. 2p here, 6p here makes 8p. Now I'm going to gather together all of the other numbers. Minus 8 here and minus 3 here together make minus 11. So the final answer is 8p minus 11. Okay, number 33 looks complicated, but it's basically 3 sets of brackets with something in front of them that you've got to multiply by, and then some plus and minus signs in front of them. So we've got to think about the multiplying out before we do the plus and minus. Okay, so a times everything in this bracket. A times a gives me a squared. A times 2b gives me 2ab. I've stuck to the convention of writing the letters in alphabetical order, so I've written 2ab rather than 2ba, although 2ba would have been the same. And a times minus 3c makes minus 3ac. Next one, 3c times everything in this bracket. So 3c times a gives me 3ac. I could have written that as 3ca, but again I'm sticking to the convention of keeping things in alphabetical order, so I've done it as 3ac. Now that's important because it helps you, having that kind of system helps you to see when terms are of the same type. So for example, 3ac over here is the same type of term as minus 3ac over there. And you might not have seen that if you had the letters in different orders. So anyway, continuing with this bracket, 3c times minus 2b makes minus 6bc, keeping the letters in alphabetical order. And then 3c times 3c here gives you 9c squared. Now the last one. So I've got a minus 2b in front of that bracket. So I've got to say minus 2b times everything in the bracket. So minus 2b times a gives you minus 2ab. Again, I could have said minus 2ba and had them in the same order that they came, but keeping them in the convention of alphabetical order helps you to recognize terms of the same type. Minus 2b times minus b gives you plus 2b squared, because minus times minus makes plus. And then minus 2b times minus 3c gives you plus 6bc. So I've got lots of terms there. Some of them are of the same type, and it's easier to see that because we've stuck to the alphabetical order convention. So I'm going to start with a squareds. I've only got one a squared term, so there it is. Now I'm going to look at b squareds, and I've only got one b squared term, and there it is. Now I'm going to look at c squareds, and I've only got one c squared term, and there it is. Now I'm going to look at ABs. I've got two ABs here, but I've got minus two ABs here, so they cancel each other out. I'm going to look at ACs now. So all of these ABs, ACs, BCs, they're all different kinds of term. So I've got minus 3AC here and plus 3AC here, so they cancel each other out. And then finally BCs, I've got minus 6BC here, and I've got plus 6BC here, so they cancel each other out. So in fact the final answer is only a squared plus 2b squared plus 9c squared. Question 34. A times b minus c plus d minus a times b minus c plus d. So multiplying things out, a times b is ab, a times minus c is minus ac, a times d is ad, and then this, remember, is a minus a, so minus a times everything in the bracket. Minus a times b gives you minus ab. Minus a times minus c gives you plus ac, because minus times minus makes plus. And then minus a times d gives you minus ad. So we've got ab minus ac plus ad minus ab plus ac minus ad. So let's look at terms of the same type. I'm going to look at ab's. I've got an ab here, but I've got a minus ab here, so they cancel each other out. Let's look at ACs. I've got a minus AC here, but a plus AC here, so they cancel each other out. And then finally we've got an AD here, but a minus AD here, so they cancel each other out. So you're actually left with 0. And that makes sense when you look at the original question, because you've got A brackets b minus c plus d minus the same thing. So you've got something minus itself, obviously makes 0. So even without all of the multiplying out, you might have spotted that you had something minus the same thing, which has to leave you with 0. Question 35. 3a times this bracket minus 2a times this bracket. So I'm going to do 3a times everything in this bracket. 3a times 2b is 6ab. 3a times minus 3c is minus 9ac. And 3a times 4d is 12ad. Next I'm going to do minus 2a times everything in this bracket. So minus 2a times 3b gives you minus 6ab. Minus 2a times minus c gives you plus 2ac, because minus times minus makes plus. And minus 2a times d gives you minus 2ad. And again, always stick to the convention of keeping things in alphabetical order, so that if you've got two terms that are of the same type, it's easier to spot that fact. Okay, let's gather up terms now. So let's have a look at ABs. We've got 6 ABs here, but we've got minus 6 ABs here. so they cancel each other out. Let's have a look at ACs. We've got minus 9AC here, but we've got plus 2AC here. So together they make minus 7AC. Let's have a look at ADs now. We've got 12 of those here, but we've got minus 2 ADs here. So together that makes 10 AD. So the final answer is minus 7 AC plus 10 AD. Now you might have written that the other way around as 10 AD minus 7 AC. And that would have been all right as long as the minus stays behind the 7 AC. So always minus first with the 7 AC next. The minus belongs to the 7 AC. So the different order would have been okay, but sticking to convention, it makes sense to keep things in alphabetical order. So ACs first and then ADs after. Number 36. 5 minus 2 brackets x minus 3. So looking at the sequence of things here, we've got a 5, a minus, a 2, a multiplication and a bracket. Now remember the sequence of precedence, you've got to do multiplication before plus or minus. So we need to think about doing this multiplication first. So we've got 5 minus 2 times the bracket. We're going to multiply by the bracket first, and we're going to multiply the bracket not by 2 but by minus 2, because this minus belongs to the 2. Whenever you see a minus sign, it belongs to the thing that follows it. So the first thing I'm going to do is minus 2 times everything in this bracket. So I'll write down the 5 because it's still there, and then minus 2 times x gives me minus 2x, and then minus 2 times minus 3 gives me plus 6, because minus times minus makes plus. So I've got 5 minus 2x plus 6. Now I'm going to gather together terms of the same type. Well, we've only got one x term, the minus 2x, but 5 and 6 are both of the same type. They're both just regular numbers. So I'm going to put the 5 and the 6 together to make 11. Remember that that minus sign has nothing to do with the 5. It belongs with the 2x. So when you're gathering the terms together, don't think that you have to do anything with the 5 and the minus. The minus belongs with the 2x. So final answer, minus 2x plus 11. You might have written that the other way around as 11 minus 2x, and that's okay as long as the minus and the 2x stay together. But sticking to convention, I've done the x's first and the numbers at the end. 37 is a bit like 36, 6 plus 4 brackets 3 minus x. So I've got to do the 4 times the bracket first. So starting off by writing down the 6 because it's still there, and then 4 times 3 is 12, so plus 12, and then 4 times minus x is minus 4x. So I've got 6 plus 12 minus 4x. 6 plus 12 makes 18, and we've still got a minus 4x, so I've written down minus 4x. So my final answer, minus 4x plus 18. You might have written down 18 minus 4x, which is all right as long as the minus and the 4x stay together. But I just like to stick to convention and have the x's followed by the numbers. So final answer, minus 4x plus 18, or 18 minus 4x. Uh, 38, 6 plus brackets 2x plus 6. Now the thing with this one, you've got some brackets there, and there's nothing that you need to do with them. There's no number in front of them, or there's no number after them. There's no minus in front of them. So this thing could just as well be written without the brackets. So I've done exactly that. 6 plus 2x plus 6. And then finally, the 6 plus 6 together can be combined into 12. So final answer 2x plus 12, or if you prefer the other way around, 12 plus 2x. But that doesn't matter. I like, though, to stick to the convention of having letters followed by numbers. Question 39 looks deceptively like question 38 in that you seem to have a bracket with nothing in front of it, but actually it's got a minus in front of it. And that's important. Whenever you see a minus, it belongs to the thing that follows it. So that minus belongs with that bracket. It's saying minus everything that's inside this bracket. So if we want to write that without the bracket, I'm going to write down the 6 because it was still there, minus everything in the bracket. So minus 2x gives you minus 2x, but then don't forget also minus 6 as well. So we've got 6 minus 2x minus 6. Well, 6 and minus 6 cancel each other out. So that just leaves you with the minus 2x bit. Final answer, minus 2x. And the final one. Question 40, 2x squared, brackets, 4xy minus 5, minus 8yx cubed, plus 9x squared. Now, the thing that's tricky about this one, apart from being very long, is that they've put some of the terms in an unconventional way. So they've got xy's here, but they've put yx cubed here. So they've not done things in alphabetical order. So I'm going to have to deal with that fact when I'm simplifying. So let's start off by doing 2x squared times everything in this bracket. 2x squared times 4xy gives you 8x cubed y. The 4 times the 2 is giving you the 8. The x squared times the x is giving you the x cubed. And then you've still got a y there as well. So 8x cubed y. Next, we've got 2x squared times minus 5. So that gives you minus 10x squared. Next, we've got an 8y x cubed, or I should say a minus 8y x cubed. And then we've got a plus 9x squared. Right, so we've got 4 separate terms without brackets, but they're not all written conventionally because we've got a minus 8y x cubed here, and I'm just going to rewrite that as minus 8x cubed y. So I've just put the letters in alphabetical order, but that's important because that now helps me to recognize that it's the same type of term as the 8x cubed y over here. So we've got 2 terms that are both of the type x cubed y. And in fact, one of them is plus 8x cubed y and the other one is minus 8x cubed y. So in fact, they just cancel each other out and disappear. So that just leaves us with these 2 terms, minus 10x squared and then plus 9x squared. So they're both of the same type. They're both x squared terms. Minus 10x squared plus 9x squared leaves you with minus 1x squared. And we just write that as minus x squared. We don't need to write a 1 in front of it. So the final answer is minus x squared.